Proudly, South Africa will host the 13th edition of the Buy Local Summit and Expo at the Sandton Convention Centre, set to take place on the 17th and 18th of March 2025. This year's theme is Building a Resilient Economy through Localization. It will focus on exploring how supporting local businesses can strengthen the South African economy and help to eradicate unemployment. Well, for more on this, we cross now to Diabo Sito, who's standing by for us. A very good afternoon to you, Diabo. Tell us what's happening where you are.
Hi, it's a hive of activity here at the Sandton Convention Centre, as it normally is where the summits such as the Buy Local Summit. I've just been inside listening to keynote addresses from the board chairperson of Proudly South Africa, who made interesting stats about how the economy would grow by, or rather the contribution to GDP would be 13% if local manufacturing increased to 10%. These are some of the stats that have been brought about by the number crunchers in their department. And they reminded us about, since they started 13 years ago, there were commitments that were made by certain companies such as your ABSA, who, for instance, pledged then a few years back that all their furniture in their offices would be procured and manufactured locally. The Fortune Group, this is a clothing brand that we all know, they made then a commitment that 4 out of 5 of their garments would be sourced and produced locally. Today there was a new set of commitments made from different companies, and one of those is the Automotive Industry Fund, the Automotive Industry Transformation Fund. They've pledged over 1 billion rand. They work with original equipment manufacturers. Transnet has also made a pledge of 600 million rand through their Black Industrialist program, and SABC has committed to sourcing their barley for their beer from South African farmers in the country. So that is what is going on upstairs, where I went to listen to what people are doing. But downstairs, where I am, this is where the exhibitors are currently, doing their things. And I've seen some very interesting businesses, I must tell you. But before I tell you about those businesses, I'm joined here by Saki Zamklaka. He's no stranger to On Point. He's the CEO of the Gauteng Propeller. And he's going to tell us about their contribution to localization. Saki, as always, thank you so much for your time. Tell me about the importance of this from a point of view of, what you do. You are quite big on localization, on supporting entrepreneurs. What are you doing for them this time around?
No, thank you. We brought here to the Proudly SA Buy Local Summit 19 funders. So just behind me are 19 funders who have brought individuals here who show entrepreneurs what their financial products are. So some of them do purchase order funding. We have the different state-owned companies, your SETFAs, National Empowerment Fund, ITC, and many others. So as I say, in total it's 19. So physically entrepreneurs can sit with these funders, understand what their requirements are, apply if that's what they want to do. So we basically made it easy for them, that they don't have to go to different offices. It would have been 19 offices they have to visit, for example. Now you have 19 of them that are here, and they can talk to them.
I've seen you sitting and observing quietly, and I'm sure you've been looking at the traffic. Are people coming to sit and talk and ask? Because funding is a very important thing for entrepreneurs, for small business owners. Are you happy with the traffic that you've been seeing and the busyness?
No, thank you. The traffic has been building up a little bit, but what we agreed with Proudly SA on, because they had their program on today, and then tomorrow the focus is going to be on funding. So while we are here on both of the days, we allowed that today there's going to be the speeches, the panels, and the focus on the actual entrepreneurs, and then the next day we actually then get the entrepreneurs to come and talk to the with. But already there's been a lot of activity.
What is going to be foremost that you want to walk away from the summit with? When you look at what has been happening over the years, at the end of the day, we want to see progress annually. What kind of progress are you hoping for?
Thank you. Well, I think the example you made of a bank that says we are going to buy locally, those are the things we want to do. I was talking to one entrepreneur now who's selling clothing, one dealer of thesis in Fulo, Soweto, and they're saying, well, with geopolitics, threat of tariffs, logistics and many others, there's more of a case to buy locally. So people are being a lot more conscious, but we want a lot of the buyers, because the buyers were actually brought into this. We want the buyers to see what is available locally and then contract people locally to manufacture. Of course, at the back of that, which is what the other entrepreneur who does foods is gotten big contracts. Now he needs to buy a machine that costs 20 million to be able to meet the requirements. And that's where then the funders come in. And that's the gap we want to plug, that when the entrepreneurs live here, if they're able to get contracts, when they get them, where do they get the working capital to?
Very good. Thank you so much, Saki. Thank you very much for your time. Saki Samklaka is with the Gauteng Enterprise Propeller Nompu. But, you know, the most important question that I know that our viewers are most likely asking themselves is that they say we should buy local. However, some people complain that most of the locally manufactured goods are not very affordable. And this is one of the things that we'll be speaking to role players at this conference to find out, how do we make it affordable for South Africans to travel locally, to buy locally, to consume locally. And with that, I hand over back to you, Studio Nompu.
All right. Thanks very much, my colleague there, Diabo Seto. We're going to go for a quick break.